Well, a warm welcome to you all on this cool spring day here in Wisconsin.
Quite cool.
I'm JJ. I am a life coach and I eat mostly meat.
I'm Eric. I'm a novelist sometimes, and other times I'm a philosopher.
That's true.
And I eat mostly meat.
Oh, welcome. We're live a little bit early today. I help direct a youth theater group, and tonight is our first opening night of this production. And we have got a back-to-back weekend with a double cast. So here I am.
Yeah, and we will not be doing a full hour tonight.
No,
because you've got to get going. But we're going to give you all of the excellent carnivore discussion that you usually want. And we're going to start it with what?
With what? Well, I was going to start with saying I eat mostly meat, right? But I've been eating a lot more butter lately because I mentioned a couple weeks ago that I noticed I have been having some hot flash issues, and I can't remember exactly what else I spoke of around that. But anyway, it made me think, oh, Dr. Bright, Dr. Elizabeth Bright. So I went back and I read her book cover to cover this time rather than just getting to the actionable parts like I did last time. It was really quite excellent, and decided that I needed to up my fat because I'd sort of gone hands off, just eating carnivore, not tracking anything, not paying attention to adding a bunch of fat, just going on with my life. So wouldn't you know, that very first night I had extra butter, and like I was having a hot flash. And I had the butter, no more. I woke up in the middle of the night, had some butter, put me back to sleep. So anyway, the moral of the story is it's working. And so I've been sleeping better, not waking up in the middle of the night and not having that nightly hot flash. But yesterday, I was just I felt really kind of full yesterday. I don't even know why. I just did. So I've been adding about a half a stick of butter per day. And I'd only had 2 tablespoons. So I'd only have had a quarter stick of butter yesterday. Was feeling full in the evening, didn't have that second dose.
Hot flash.
Really? So I went out there, I got the butter, I ate some and proceeded to go to sleep. So I mean, it seems like a protocol that is working for me right now. And
that is crazy.
Isn't it?
It doesn't seem like it should be that closely connected to where it seems like it should be a general thing. Like you're just eating more fat generally.
Yeah.
But not specifically in that day or within hours.
Right. Like even the first night you try it and you get to sleep sooner or whatever it might be. And it's like, okay, is this just a coincidence? Who knows? It's only me. I can't do a full study. But then, yeah, yesterday to have missed that second dose of butter and to have had a hot flash, it just seems like you're right. It's just so directly correlated.
Wow.
It's crazy. So for me right now, like I said, that's what I'm doing. And her philosophy is that the extra fat is really feeding the adrenals and the top of that hormone cascade. So it's addressing any stress issues and addressing the rest of it. So I'm on it for a while. And she does say she gets really maligned. Is that the word? Is that a word?
It depends on what's going to follow whatever you're about to say.
She gets a bit maligned for, everyone saying that she's just high fat only. Oh. And the truth is she sees this as a temporary protocol. And then you move into you don't have to add the half stick of butter a day. And that's kind of what she recommends, is about a half stick. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like it's working and it's not doing you any harm.
No, it's not doing me any harm.
So I say keep doing it.
Well, the hot flashes, you were like, oh my gosh, you get away. It was just coming.
You're just a furnace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very strange.
So I actually just had my second dose of fat before we got on today, since I'm headed to the theater. There could be a third dose when I get home.
Yep.
I don't know, but yeah,
It's allowed.
it is. It is.
I see that Chance is here. Hi, Chance.
Hey, Chance.
He's saying, hey, family. Well, welcome in, everybody. Let us know who you are, where you're from, how long you've done carnivore, or anything else you want to say related to carnivore or ask related to our carnivore experience. JJ said she's a life coach. I said I'm a novelist. So that tells you the level of expertise you should expect when it comes to diet, exercise, all things health, or pretty much any other topic.
Pretty much.
I mean, literally, writing novels, the whole point is to find what could go wrong and make it go wrong.
Well, and you get to make things up, just totally.
Frequently do.
And as a life coach, I don't have to have the answers for anything. I just have to ask you the question.
Where else in your life do you just ask people other questions that don't get them specific answers? So I was listening to Rogan randomly. I didn't even know who the guest was when I clicked the thumbnail. And it was the second time this idea of putting hydrogen tablet in water has come up. And so I said, what is this? I've never heard of this. So apparently dissolved hydrogen is some sort of great antioxidant. And it's very good for health. Now, is there strong evidence? Well, the guest of on the show said there was. I don't know really who he is. So I'm going to believe it. It's always better to not know anything about them and just believe it, because once you dig any deeper, you find out that they don't know what they're talking about, just like me. But if you've heard of that before, let me know, because it's the first for me. It was just new information.
So you are looking to order those? Or
I did, just to see. I mean, they were relatively cheap, so I thought, well, I'll put them in some water and drink them. I hope it doesn't make me keel over. But yeah, it was interesting.
I'm not against that, but it just, I hear Dr. Eid in my head going, if you don't get oxidated, you don't need the antioxidant.
Well, yeah.
But we're oxidated.
I would agree with that, generally speaking. But, I'm always looking for a quick fix, a silver bullet, a magic wand.
Hey, that's a question too. That's a life coaching question. If you had a magic wand.
Yes.
What would you want?
Well, what are its powers?
Well,
is it like a genie?
We aren't using that. I have no specific question to ask you. So I guess I could say, if you had a magic wand, what would you want the hydrogen tablets to do?
I would like it to be a fountain of youth and vitality that made me completely content and perfectly healthy until I got sick of it and decided to go to the next plane of existence. And that transition would just be like walking out through a door.
I like it.
Michelle is here, and she has a very wise thing that she wants to say. I'm reading Starside right now. I'm hooked. Well, I think we should probably just end our live stream there. We'll create this as the thumbnail. I'll zoom in on that. I'll make it super big. And my life's complete.
I was just seeing if it was behind us. Yes.
Some of them are back there. Yeah.
That's what
well, thank you so much for trying my series, and even more, enjoying it and letting me know, because almost no one ever lets an author know that they love what they're reading. So I'm so delighted to hear that.
Excellent.
I'm kind of a weird mood.
I haven't talked to you all day, so
maybe that's why I'm in a weird mood. I've been only in my thoughts and with Joe Rogan in one ear and this hydrogen tablet guy in the other.
And then I'm going to leave for the evening, so you'll still be just you.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do then. All right. Well, I thank you so much, Michelle, for that. That's wonderful.
So I was watching Dr. Kiltz's live recording of the live stream. I was not awake because I think it was one of his early morning live streams. And I wanted to announce here that if you don't know, he is giving away a total of 10 tasty air fryers over the next several days, 2 per day per weekday. So he's already had Thursday and Friday. And so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week on his live streams, you have to be there to put in the correct hashtag. You have a chance to win one of 2 tasty air fryers.
What makes them so tasty?
Well, it's the brand. It's the brand. And I think it's the brand with the built-in temperature probe.
Yes.
So
I've seen those reviewed by Dante, and
yeah,
I think Bella did a review of it once.
It was one of the ones that was up. Like there were 3 that we were looking at, and so.
Well, that sounds pretty cool. That's a lot of them.
It is, and it's just he really is generous with the community. So it's awesome. Very awesome.
We've given away no air fryers.
No.
Ever. Or really anything else.
Not yet. No. Who knows? Who knows what's to come?
But what we should do is be giving away Dr. Ead's book.
Really?
But the problem is this audience doesn't need her book. They already know.
They already know.
So we need to do some sort of clickbait, like to get vegans in and then give away Ead's book that they then read and then they change their ways. Although there is a vegan keto, I guess, somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fats are.
Yeah.
Corn oil? I don't think she'd be for that.
No, probably not.
Steakman. Hey, y'all from Texas. Easter is around the corner and I'm ready for the ribeye steak and roasts to go on sale. It is harvest time for us.
Thank you for the reminder on that. I remember when they were on sale around Christmas, and this was mentioned that they'd be back on sale. So thank you for mentioning that, because it had totally slipped my mind.
We haven't had any sort of roast or brisket or chuck roast or anything like that recently.
No, I kind of wanted to do a chuck roast for this weekend, so it'd be an easy grab and go for me, but I did not plan ahead. We did not have any. So
well, then we're not having it.
We're not having it. No.
I just have been eating steaks and eggs, sardines, steaks, eggs, sardines, just on repeat. And it's been fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have not had one craving for chicken the entire time. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I have had my, for a while there, I was doing my chicken fake Courtney Luna Cobb salad every morning. And for one thing, I ran out of the ingredients for a while, but I do have them now, but it's not an everyday thing, I don't think, because I really want the beef lately. So I've been having it every 2 to 3 days. I've been throwing that in the rotation, and that is chicken breast, bacon, hard-boiled egg, blue cheese, bacon grease, and a little sprinkling of vinegar.
Oh?
Yeah.
Well, you rave about it,
mm-hmm.
and I don't see the appeal. But then again, I haven't tried it, and anything with blue cheese on it is a pass for me.
I was going to say, the blue cheese is probably not for you. Yeah, not at all. Not at all.
Carl says, long-time watchers,
hey.
First-time comment. My wife Jane and I are watching live from the UK, and we are still awake. It's usually a live recording or rewatch for us because we're starting early.
And we're earlier, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining, and thank you for commenting.
Thank you so much.
It's kind of amazing to think that this reaches, across the world. What a time to be alive. It's wonderful.
It is.
And Chans is saying, good to see you, Carl.
Yes.
So you probably saw that in the chat.
Now, Chans, I'm glad you're here today.
Yep.
I wanted to mention that we watched your video, and I'm kind of like you. You'd said that you'd gotten sort of this confirmation message through what I was saying. And I'm kind of like you. For me, I want to hear things 3 times. If I hear things 3 times, then I'm usually like, okay, I get it. You've hit me over the head. I get it. And then I'll go pursue or check out whatever it is. So I get that whole concept. And I wanted to say, you have been on my mind. This is, I'm not on Facebook much at all. I've been on this last couple of weeks because I post photos for our youth play. And I noticed that some high school old friends had left a whole bunch of comments for me or a whole bunch of messages for me. I was like, what's going on here? And it turned out that one of our classmates passed away, and he'd suffered from type 2 diabetes and heart attack and stroke. And so he's actually a couple years younger than me. And I was just so sad to hear that. And it just made me think of you and how wonderful it is that you have taken action toward your healing. And I'm hoping for, continued healing for you, and just, that you have, hopefully prolonged your life in a way that my high school friend Cedric was not able to. And he would have known nothing about this, I'm guessing. Yeah. So yeah, just really still pulling for you, and so very fortunate.
Well, he's making great progress.
Well, oh, I know.
I mean, it's dramatic.
Yeah.
Because we only see him every couple of weeks. And so it's more obvious to us because we see the change. So when we're done, go to Carnivore Chance's channel and subscribe and catch up on his story, because it's pretty great.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you ever are not feeling the love, you will feel it on his channel.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. And that's the thing about my high school friend too.
Yeah,
he was just a big old teddy bear and so sweet. So incredibly sweet.
Michelle says, what benefits did you have by cutting out dairy? Yeah, I did that last year after doing a food diary, and I noticed just how much dairy I was having. And I cut it out as an experiment just to see what would happen. And it just ended a weight loss stall for me. And I'm not really sure if it was anything other than maybe just there's more carbs in dairy that I was eating, because I was having a lot of cottage cheese based flatbread.
Your inflammation went down. I remember this because when you brought up the cottage cheese bread, we both noticed that your face
just kind of
shifted pretty quickly and dramatically. So there was a little something going on.
Yeah. So it was hard to contemplate doing, but once I had done it, it wasn't as hard as giving up carbs in general. But in more recent times, I occasionally will have some dairy, but it's still not a feature of my diet the way that it was. I mean, my morning eggs and bacon had lots of shredded cheese on it. But actually what I gave up before that was putting the sriracha on that. Oh, that was so good. But my gut, I was in denial. I was like, no, it can't be the sriracha that's making me feel like it's got to be the eggs. It's got to be the eggs.
That's right.
It's something about the eggs. There's an egg protein that's bothering my gut. And I give up the sriracha and I have no brain at all. And that was during the dark times. You couldn't get sriracha because like the factory blew up or stopped making it. I don't know what happened. So I was trying to get black market sriracha. And Smokey Bear says, JJ, that salad sounds amazing.
Yeah, I really, really do enjoy it. Courtney Luna's book, I also have made her cornbread, in quotes. It's all in quotes.
There's no corn in the cornbread.
No, there isn't. And I actually just made it a few weeks ago, just for a little something different. It's fine. The salad's amazing. The cornbread's fine.
Well, I think when you call it cornbread, you're setting up an expectation.
Yeah.
Whereas if you call something a salad, nobody really expects much from a salad. Thank you, JJ. And it was you, Hampton, and me. Power of 3.
Yep.
Lisa is just leaving work, paying attention to us through audio, not watching us on video, I'm sure.
Glad you could make it, Lisa. I did wonder about you because I know since we're a little early, it's in the work portion of the day. So glad you could make it.
Alan says, I've been making fish salad, kind of like tuna salad, but with catfish, pickle juice, but no plants except avocado mayonnaise.
Oh, yeah.
So interesting.
Well, this is what I've wondered whether I could do that with sardines.
Yeah, my brain can't assemble that ingredients list into a flavor that my mouth can imagine.
But you never ate you never ate like mayo salad stuff.
True. But if you're enjoying it, you should eat it.
Yeah.
Simpson is greeting everyone. Hello. I'm glad you were able to join us.
Hello, hello.
So we got a comment from our friend Keisha. And I want to zoom in. Well, she says she likes it when we talk about regular life stuff because it's like having friends around. An idea for another talk in the future is what to tell yourself if you go off course. I had a really bad fall off after about 2 years, and reconsidering now, I'm thinking perhaps I should bend instead of break, and incorporate a little sprinkle of onion on the taco bowl or a little red sauce to make a chicken carnivore enchilada because I was so strict before. So I think I get this idea that you've been super strict carnivore and then you allow some sort of cheat meal comes in and then it just sort of snaps everything and you just go off the plan entirely.
This was the story of your previous diet life.
That's exactly right. That was my pattern. And so the question here is, do I relax it just a little so that I don't snap?
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that this is so individual as to be impossible for us to say what any one person should do.
And I'll be a life coach and say, so what do you think you should do? No, I agree with you.
But I know that we do occasionally allow ourselves an off-plan thing. We usually see it coming. I mean, we know that there's going to be this event where that's going to happen. But I think it really also depends on what are the consequences to you. Do you feel terrible?
Yes.
Does it cause immediate inflammation? Because it also kind of tells you which things maybe you're okay to add back and which things aren't.
That's what I was going to say is you might want, I'm a moderator, so I have no issue adding a few things in. Like I would totally do, I add pickle relish. When I make my egg salad, I'll add a little bit of pickle relish to it. Speaking of Alan, yeah. And so I will add a few things. And that said, it's pretty rare that I do something like that, and it's in isolation. So if something is bothering me, I can pick it out. And I had something recently, I can't remember what it was, but so I would say, it's individual, and if you choose to do that, to do it in isolation so you can determine whether something is causing a bad reaction or not. And then if you start to notice the slippery of slope, as Eric was saying with his cheese consumption, you might want to track what you're eating. And that simply means not even macros or anything, just tracking what you're eating and going, oh, wait a minute. Now I've introduced 20 things this week.
I think it's difficult if you go, like when I started Carnivore, I did that solid month and then I was kind of off of it for the holidays and you continued through, unknown to me.
Yeah.
And when she told me what she was doing and I was like, I've got to do this. It's hard to get back on plan when you're used to being able to just eat whatever you want. So I don't know. It's tough. I think purists would say never cheat ever, not even
Yes.
once. And I would say it depends on whether it throws you completely off onto the slippery slope.
Yeah. Yeah. And as from the coaching perspective too, is just really don't beat yourself up about it. Don't sort of, Dr. Barry says this too. That happened. Move on.
Next meal. And that's really the thing about if you've gone too far about getting right back, get a compliant, perfect carnivore meal behind you, and then do another one.
Yeah.
One day at a time.
Yep.
One meal at a time, one bite at a time. It's kind of trite advice, but it's true.
It is. Yes, it is. Oh, yes.
Did anybody see this? Because I don't think many people did. This, our clickbait thumbnail here, $500 wasted on supplements. The $500 I just made up right on the spot. But this was our last video from Tuesday.
There's been a lot. I mean, think of all the years. There's been
way more than that.
Crud ton of money spent on supplements.
But we did a video about supplements on Carnivore, which, kind of why we were taking them before Carnivore and then which ones we've kept.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good video. Of course I edited it. So I watched it a number of times. And for the theme song at the end, I added some little video clips to make it a little more interesting. So it's worth it just to watch the end. Now the analytics will show like everybody. 4 people go, just watch the end. Can you please share how you make your cooked egg yolk dipping sauce? I mentioned this in the last live that I eat steak with eggs all the time because I just love the combination of egg yolk, runny egg yolk, and steak. So this idea that it's a dipping sauce is very generous because really what I do is I separate some egg yolks not very well. I don't do the separation very cleanly. And then I just fry the eggs like I would fry them in any other occasion in a skillet. I break about half of them in the process. And of course I make sure they're runny, put those on the plate, slap a steak on the plate. And then I cut the eggs yolks all up. So it's just a runny mess. And then with every bite of steak, I put a little bit of that on it and I eat it. And I do salt the eggs when I cook them. And I love that. And the reason I take some of the whites out is just to get the fat content proportion up. So I'm not having, because the egg white is mostly protein. That's what that's all about. Mm-hmm. Was that clear?
I think so. But I know what you do, so it's hard for me to do it every day.
This comment was good. A fish on second. I might not even be here if I had not gone keto and now carnivore for 5 years. I had a heart attack 8 years ago and now feel on top of the world, which is a great feeling for a 70 years young man. I love seeing comments like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are you off the screen?
A little bit.
Okay.
They're here to see you, JJ.
That's an amazing testimony. Yeah. It's awesome.
Because you could just imagine the inflammatory state and then you go keto and in carnivore and the inflammation comes down and blood pressure comes down. A1C comes down.
You said blood pressure, and this reminds me, I have someone else in my close community life who is having issues with blood pressure now. And it just more and more people around me that I see keep having these various health issues. And it's so challenging for me to not want to just jump on my soapbox and start telling them what to do. And I wait for an opening if there is one. I did get an opening with a friend recently where I was just sort of able to toss something out there. But my good friend, she's like, you've got to tell people if you know, you've got to, she's like, I'd want to know. But yeah. So anyway, it's just, I keep bumping up against that the last couple months. It's making me crazy.
I don't know. In my family, it's just the culture. Our family culture was you never tell anybody anything ever. You don't let them know what you're feeling, what you think at all. So if you think they're doing something wrong, you mind your own business. If you think they're doing something right, you mind your own business.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so programmed into me. I don't insert my opinions into other people's lives about what they should do,
Right.
unless they've asked.
Right.
And it's
unsolicited.
It's just us.
Yeah. Yeah. And I get that. And I actually have experienced the other side where some of my family is just totally hands off. You never know anything. And then the others, I have another one who is sort of a puppet master, trying to always impose the opinion and their knowing and their knowledge. So I also react quite the opposite to that as well.
Nobody wants to be manipulated.
No.
So I don't know. It's particular.
Yeah. So anyway, it's just frustrating to have so many instances recently coming up. And
maybe you'll snap at some point and you'll say, look, so we sit down. I need to talk to you. Now, this is what you need to do. And I'm telling you, you need to start it right now, today. Given what you've told me, you need to start this today.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe me, I want you to go to these channels on YouTube and watch these videos and start immediately.
Yeah.
I would never do that.
No.
I would. It depends. It really depends.
Well, it depends.
Because the risk is the way that I would receive that would be whatever you say is opposite of what I'm going to do.
Well, and okay, so the friend that I had the opportunity to drop the seed, there was an opening. I was able to drop the seed. And I'm happy about that because as we were talking about with Carnivore Chans just a moment ago too, though, is that if I hear something from a few different spots, then I might go, wait a minute.
Right.
So I have dropped a seed and maybe if this person sees some other seeds, encounters some other seeds, they'll go, oh, let me look into that. So yeah,
it's just funny.
What? It's funny.
I have quirk. I have at least one quirk.
Just one. Just one. Yeah. So anyway, it's been crazy to me lately. So waiting for the opening.
So I'm sure everybody saw this.
Oh my goodness.
Plaque begets plaque. ApoB does not. Longitudinal data from the Keto-CTA trial. So this is Dave Feldman, Sotomoda, Norwitz, Budoff. This was the outcome of following their cohort of so-called lean mass hyperresponders for 1 year. So they had the CT angiogram at baseline, and now they've got one from a year later, so they can track how these people who eat low carb are developing or not developing coronary artery plaques. And what they showed was, to the extent that anybody did have an increase in plaque, statistically, it had no relationship to their elevated LDL or ApoB. The only thing that it had relationship to was the fact that they had any plaque at baseline. So if they started with some, they were more likely to develop some more. Which makes sense.
Yeah. But some went down.
Yeah, they had 4 or 5 individuals who actually regressed, lost some of the plaque, which was interesting. Now, it's a little unsatisfying in that they don't say what caused the initial plaque at baseline. And so it's only speculation. You could say, well, they developed that before they went keto or low carb, but we don't know that. But it also is unsatisfying because it doesn't tell you what to do if you have plaques, because it is showing that it can progress even on very low carb. So it's not saying you have complete protection. There's no risk. There's nothing. It's just saying that it's not ApoB or LDL in this particular population. It's very important to understand that it's in the people that are lean mass hyperresponders. So their BMI is an average of 22.5. Their LDL is like 254 on average. Some are way higher. Their trigs are under 100 and their HDL is over 50. So it's only in that little zone of population. However, it's extremely interesting because there are those who would say, no, ApoB is causative, and that's the end of the story. But if that's the case, it should cause it in every population.
Right.
And that's not what they've seen.
Yeah.
So it's really fascinating.
So yeah, even though it is this certain sliver, and they're very careful about that, certain sliver of the population, it does start to change the paradigm of how we look at lipids.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that is a huge part. And hopefully, the hope is that there'll be better science coming out of it.
That would be the hope.
In some way. Yeah. Yeah.
But the risk is that people will see this and they'll say LDL and ApoB doesn't matter in any context, in any population, in any patient. And that's not what this study says.
No.
It's very, very narrow. Now, it may not matter, but that's in our theme song, right? But that's not what this says. But pretty encouraging in some ways and interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, I immediately was like, okay, let's speculate. Like, where did the initial damage come from in the people who started with some plaques? And I was like, well, did they have some insulin resistance, some metabolic syndrome? Did they have some high blood pressure maybe that's causing that damage? We don't know.
Nope.
And that makes me mad because I want to know the answer and I want the final answer, and then I want to forget about it.
We went to the COSI conference in beginning of February in Las Vegas. Yeah. And of course they weren't releasing any real results at that point if they had them. But so this was exciting to actually finally hear. And it also leads me to the fact that while we were there, we met Jenny Mittich.
Oh, that's right. We did.
Yes. Jenny Mittich, who has her very successful YouTube channel, and she lives just south of us in Chicago area. And we also met her husband, Goran, and she did a phenomenal talk. Like, it was our favorite talk of the weekend.
Yes.
About her husband, who she reacted very favorably to the carnivore diet. He did not have the response that's expected.
Mm-hmm.
And so he lost some weight and stuff, but he didn't have the lipid response, for instance, that was expected. So anyway, she does a ton of experimenting, is always measuring her blood, her fat level, etc., all the tests all the time. And so she and her husband decided that they were going to start doing some testing on him as well. And she speculates, this is her hypothesis, that because he was obese his entire adult life, I can't remember if he was as a child too, that his insulin resistance was so bad and his visceral fat so high, because they did a DEXA scan, that was why he was not responding to the carnivore diet as expected. So last fall, they really dove into it deeply and noticed things trending down. But she feels like once his visceral fat gets to a certain level, the switch is going to flip, and then he's going to see the expected benefits of carnivore.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, so this report was a status report on that, and we were interested in this story. So, the status report is his visceral fat is down from 8.93 last fall to 5.06 pounds. So almost 9 pounds down to 5 pounds. And his total fat is down from 42.5% to 36%, but the switch has not flipped yet. And he is doing some very aggressive, he's doing carnivore, but 10 to 14 days a month is spent fasting, water fasting.
Not in a row.
Yeah, I think it's in a row.
In a row? Wow.
Yeah. But she always points out he is a very experienced faster. He didn't just dive into those long fasts. But that's when he starts to see his insulin go down.
Okay.
Is when he does those fasts, and then he has to eat. So he does carnivore, and then he repeats the cycle every month. And things went a little off they weren't as strict with some traveling and the holidays and so forth. But yeah, they're just waiting for that result. So it's an interesting continuing story. And it will be interesting to see what happens with her husband, because you and I both have little things that haven't responded exactly the way we've expected to.
Yep.
And she talked about how frustrating it can be. Now, she also said, I want to point out, with these fasts, they are keeping a close track of his muscle, his lean body mass as well, to make sure he's not flipping into starvation mode and that he's staying at a healthy fasting level. Yeah. So we wish them the best. It was so good meeting them. We hung out with them a little bit, had some Brazilian steakhouse meals, or a meal with them. And I just, I really do wish them the best. And it's interesting how it can be so different, again, for two different people pretty much eating the same thing in the same house.
Yeah.
All right. That's all. I'm done.
Ellen wanted to buy pickle relish for a salad, but the store brands are full of dye.
Yeah.
Why would they put dye in it?
It must be green, like green.
He made his own relish. Here's a question. Any idea why a 2-year carnivore would have joint pains again after it had gone away like 2 months into starting carnivore? Now I am eating lion in order to ID any problem. That's interesting. I don't know why that would happen.
I love your process, how you're moving into lion, just as a further elimination to see if there's anything that you had introduced that is causing an issue. Love that process. Think it's great. And we can't speculate as to why, really, but we've heard this type of thing can happen, and we assume it's part of the healing process, whether it's oxalates or whatever it might be. Old toxins releasing from the fat. We can speculate a million different directions, and we've heard about this before in the community that something can crop up, and then it usually does resolve again, though.
Yep. I'm a novelist, so I could invent a story.
Ooh.
But it wouldn't have no bearing on reality.
No. But I just, again, want to really acknowledge that you're like, okay, let's make sure that it's nothing. Like, if it's a healing, that's fine. But is there something in my current state that is causing this, my current behaviors?
Yeah, Nick Norowitz has been making videos about that trial we mentioned. Yeah.
Yes.
He's got a very, very good one. I think it was 3 videos ago now for him that he explains that study extraordinarily clearly. So it's definitely worth a watch. And his channel is good.
Yeah.
Solar Dare. Any tips that can help along a carnivore journey, as I'm pretty sure I'm doing something wrong. 155 days in and feeling very fatigued. Severe OCD, intrusive thoughts are getting worse.
Ooh.
The message continues. Daily functioning is being severely hindered, and I'm really, really hoping this way of eating would help, but I'm feeling hopeless and frustrated that it's not working. Also developed histamine intolerance due to having majority of meals being ground beef. So I'm on a fixed income due to health reasons. Should I start with carnivore, swap to ketovore or keto, or even low histamine diet? Sorry for the long text. Don't worry about the length of the text. Yeah, when I see severe OCD, intrusive thoughts are getting worse, that makes me very, very concerned for you. And I want to make sure that you have some sort of resource or someone you can reach out to talk about those things, because that's somewhere where you need a professional's assistance. That said, you are going to want to read Dr. Georgia Eads' book, Change Your Diet, Change Your Mind, and be looking at getting ketosis fired up for sure.
Yes. I would say making sure you're in ketosis would be a good step right now. Dr. Eads' book, what was it again? Change Your Diet?
Change Your Diet, Change Your Mind. As a matter of fact, I can show it to you.
Yeah.
Right here. Both of these books are excellent. Brain Energy by Chris Palmer and Change Your Diet, Change Your Mind. They're both basically about the same thing. That fatigue, oh man, that really is sounding to me like a macros thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the mental health stuff can take its time.
Yes, it can.
And it's not corrected necessarily super evenly. It's not a linear progression necessarily. There can be reversals, but I feel for you because I've been there.
Yes.
Simpson is, friend from Ireland who finally had relief from her OC after 6 months. She's still needing healing from mental disorders, but getting better. Well, I wish I could give you the answer.
Yeah.
I wish I could. Let me pull this off the screen.
That's all that was on my list.
Yeah.
He's looking over on my list to make sure I got everything.
JJ's play premieres tonight.
Yes.
So her kids are ready?
They are ready. They are ready. And I am ready to be done with the Candyman song going through my head all the time.
Yeah, that's ironic for a carnivore to be singing Candyman.
So very ironic. So very, very ironic. But yeah, it turned into a pretty decent production. I'm pleased with it. And all the directors are ready for a little break after this week. We're excited about the weekend. Don't get me wrong. And we're excited to have a little break. It was a double cast. Double casting always makes it a more of a challenge to juggle.
I am ready for it to be over because we have work to do.
We do. Well, we need better weather too, would be nice. But yes, we do have a lot of work to do on the property.
Oh yeah. It is a lot.
Well, and the amazing thing, I love doing the plays. It does take my Sunday during the day. And that's the biggest issue as far as schedule, I think, is losing that full day. Plus, I work other days of the week. It's not just Sunday. So you add that Sunday in and just makes things a little more challenging, especially also getting together with friends and family who actually work Monday through Friday. That takes a whole day away that I can't see them. So yeah, I'm ready.
Well, we do need to wrap up so JJ can get to the theater. The theater.
The theater, which is a gymnatorium.
Because there's makeup to be applied.
Oh, and many hairstyles to do.
And kids to be wrangled.
Kids to definitely be wrangled. Oompa Loompas who need their orange and green applied and all sorts of things like
funny.
that.
Well, thank you guys so much for your support. Please give us a like and a subscribe if you haven't, or if you think we've provided some value for you. And I just want to let you know that those of you who are having great successes, we're proud of you and we're happy for you. And those who are still struggling, we know that you have the strength in you to keep going and to keep working in and keep refining your diet and finding the answers. And we always wrap up with the same thing every time here. And we mean this really, really seriously, not just for us, but for you as well. Every day stronger.
Every day more blessed.
JJ and Eric, their lipids are high. Their doctors doctors are worried they're both gonna die. Is LDL harmless? They sure hope it's so. It's the JJ and Eric Carnivore Show. Salad is toxic, seed oils are doom. They rub on tallow like greasy perfume. Ribeyes and bacon, that's all they know. It's the JJ and Eric Carnivore Show. No wheat, no kale, they're laughing at greens. 18-hour fasts are their favorite routines. Sugars for suckers, they're chomping on fat. Streaming to you live from a tallow fat. Eric's got muscles, JJ's got zen. They're coming to chat with their carnivore friends. So toss out the lettuce, embrace the beef glow. It's the JJ and Eric